You are trying to attract something that you already possess. This is the great paradox and the profound secret of abundance. The universe, in its very nature, is an infinite, overflowing, and benevolent source of all things. Abundance is not a prize to be won or a scarce resource to be chased. It is the foundational reality of existence itself, the very air you breathe. You are not separate from this abundance. You are an expression of it. It is your birthright, your true nature, and the inheritance that has been waiting for you all along. The only reason you do not experience this truth is because you have forgotten it. You have been taught a story of lack that has veiled your eyes to the magnificent truth of your own inner wealth. This guide is a journey of remembering. It is not about teaching you how to get abundance, but about helping you to strip away the veils of illusion so you can finally see and claim what is, and always has been, already yours. The abundance of the universe, it's already yours. Here's how to manifest it, written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1. Remembering that it's already yours. Imagine a royal child, born as the sole heir to a vast, magnificent, and infinitely wealthy kingdom. As an infant, this child is lost and is found and raised by a humble and loving family of paupers in a remote village. Growing up, the child knows nothing of their true lineage. Their entire reality is shaped by the beliefs of the village. The belief that resources are scarce, that life is a struggle for survival, and that one must work tirelessly for every small crumb of bread. The child learns these lessons well. They become an expert at surviving, at making do, and at living within the confines of profound limitation. Meanwhile, their magnificent kingdom, with all its unimaginable riches, its beautiful palaces, and its loving subjects, is waiting for them. The inheritance is there, it is real, and it is theirs by birthright, but the royal child is completely unaware of it. They are living the life of a pauper, not because it is their destiny, but because it is the only story they have ever been told. This is a powerful and poignant metaphor for the human condition. You are this royal child. You were born into a universe of infinite abundance, the sole heir to a kingdom of limitless potential. Abundance is your birthright. But from a very young age, you were raised in the village of a collective human consciousness that has been, for centuries, deeply entrenched in a story of lack and limitation. You have been taught the story of scarcity, and you have learned to believe it. You have become an expert at surviving, at struggling, and at living within the confines of not enough, all while your magnificent inheritance has been patiently and lovingly waiting for you. The first, most profound, and most liberating step on your journey to manifesting abundance is not to learn a new technique or to strive harder. It is simply to begin the sacred process of remembering. You must start to entertain the magnificent possibility that the story you have been living is not the truth of who you are. The solution is to gently and lovingly begin to awaken from the dream of scarcity and to remember your own royal nature. This is not about arrogance or ego. It is about reclaiming the quiet, powerful, deep-seated truth of your own inherent worth and your unbreakable connection to the infinite source of all good. The path to abundance is not a journey of becoming someone you are not. It is a journey of unlearning all the false stories that have hidden the magnificent truth of who you have always been. When you can begin to see yourself not as a struggling pauper trying to earn a few coins, but as the beloved heir to a magnificent kingdom, your entire energetic signature begins to change. Your posture changes, your thoughts change, your feelings change, and the very way you walk through the world begins to shift. This is the foundational shift in consciousness from which all true and lasting abundance is born. To begin this process of remembering, you must first start to question the reality of the village. You must become a curious observer of the story of lack itself. One of the most powerful ways to do this is to look to nature. Nature is the universe's most obvious and constant demonstration of a reality of pure, unapologetic, and effortless abundance. The practice is to take an abundance walk. You will go for a short walk wherever you are, and your only intention will be to look for evidence of the universe's overflowing, extravagant nature. Do not look for money. Look for the deeper truth. Consider a single large tree. Look at the thousands upon thousands of individual leaves on its branches. The tree did not struggle to produce them. It did not worry if it had enough energy to create one more leaf. It simply and effortlessly expressed its abundant nature. Now consider an entire forest with its millions of trees, its countless blades of grass, its billions of insects, and its trillions of atoms. Look up at the night sky and consider the billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and the billions of galaxies in the known universe. When you immerse yourself in the undeniable reality of nature's extravagance, the small, human-centric story of not enough begins to seem absurd and almost laughable. This practice of consciously observing nature's abundance begins to retrain your brain. It provides your subconscious mind with a new and far more powerful data set, a set of evidence that proves that the fundamental nature of reality is not lack, but is in fact an endless and joyful overflow. As you begin to absorb this new data, you can start to cultivate the royal mindset. This is the practice of consciously thinking and feeling from the perspective of the person who knows they are the heir to an infinite inheritance. Ask yourself throughout the day, how would the person who knows they are unconditionally supported by an abundant universe handle this situation? For example, you are faced with an unexpected bill. The pauper mindset, the old story, would react with immediate fear, with contraction, and with a cascade of worried thoughts. The royal mindset, however, would respond differently. It would first feel a sense of calm, a deep knowing that all is well. It would look at the bill not as a threat, but simply as an energetic request that the kingdom will easily provide for. The person with the royal mindset might then take a calm, inspired action, such as looking for a creative solution or simply trusting that the means to pay it will appear, but their inner state would remain one of peace and sufficiency. By consistently and consciously choosing to respond to your daily life from this new, royal perspective, you begin to embody the energetic frequency of abundance. You are not faking it, you are practicing your true nature. You are remembering who you are. This remembrance also requires you to re-examine your relationship with desire itself. In the village of lack, desire is often seen as a painful reminder of what you do not have. It can feel like a craving, a painful hunger. From the royal mindset, however, desire is something beautiful and sacred. It is the universe itself, whispering to you, guiding you toward the next beautiful expression of your own inheritance that is ready to be claimed. A new desire is not a sign of lack, it is a sign of your own readiness to expand. The practice is to honor your desires. When a new desire arises within you, a desire for a new creative project, for a more beautiful home, for a deeper relationship, you will no longer meet it with the old thought of, I can't have that. You will meet it with a new welcoming thought. Ah, I see. This is the next beautiful part of my kingdom that is now becoming available to me. How wonderful. This simple shift in perspective transforms desire from a source of pain into a source of joyful anticipation. It is you, the heir, joyfully looking at the map of your kingdom and choosing which beautiful province you would like to visit next. You have now begun the most beautiful and important journey of all, the journey of remembering the truth of who you are. You are not a pauper begging for scraps. You are the royal heir to an infinitely abundant universe. Your inheritance is real, it is vast, and it has been waiting for you with infinite patience. But as you begin to awaken to this magnificent truth, you may notice that your vision is still obscured. It is as if you are looking toward your beautiful kingdom, but you are looking through a series of thick, cloudy, and distorting veils. What are these veils that hang between you and your inheritance, obscuring your vision, distorting your perception, and keeping your magnificent riches just out of your immediate reach? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. Identifying your veils of lack. Imagine you are standing inside a beautiful room with a large picture window that looks out onto the most magnificent, sun-drenched landscape you have ever seen. The landscape is vibrant. It is filled with life, and it represents the infinite abundance of the universe that is your birthright. The beautiful view is always there, just outside your window, waiting to be enjoyed. However, the window itself is covered in thick layers of dust, grime, and cobwebs that have accumulated over many years. When you try to look out at the beautiful landscape, your vision is obscured. The light is dim, the colors are dull, and your perception of the magnificent reality that lies just on the other side is deeply distorted. You do not see the world as it truly is. You see it through the thick, cloudy filter of your dirty window. This is a perfect metaphor for our perception of reality. The magnificent, abundant truth of the universe is always present, but each of us views this truth through the unique window of our own consciousness. And for most of us, this window is covered in the accumulated grime of our past conditioning. These smudges and distortions are your veils of lack. They are the powerful, invisible, and often completely unconscious filters of your limiting beliefs, your fears, and your unhealed emotional wounds that cause you to see scarcity, struggle, and limitation even when you are surrounded by an ocean of abundance. We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. The great challenge is that we have been looking through these veils for so long that we have forgotten they are even there. We mistake the smudge on the window for a flaw in the landscape. The transformative and most essential step in clearing your vision is to first become aware that you are, in fact, looking through a series of veils. You must become a conscious observer of your own perception. The solution is not to try to change the world outside of you, but to begin the gentle and loving work of cleaning your own inner window. The first step in any cleaning process is to identify the specific spots that are dirty. You must learn to see your veils of lack for what they are, not as fundamental truths about reality, but as old, accumulated layers of energetic dust that can be gently and easily wiped away. When you can learn to identify your own unique veils, you begin a profound process of liberation. You stop being an unconscious victim of your own distorted perception, and you become a conscious creator capable of cleaning your own window so that you can finally see and experience the magnificent, sun-drenched landscape of abundance that has been waiting for you all along. The first and most effective way to identify your veils is to learn to read their emotional fingerprints. Every veil of lack, every limiting belief has a unique and recognizable emotional signature. The feeling of anxiety that arises when you think about money is the emotional fingerprint of a scarcity veil. The feeling of envy that you feel when you see someone else succeed is the fingerprint of a not enough for me veil. The feeling of guilt you experience when you take time to rest is the fingerprint of a worthiness must be earned through struggle veil. Your challenging emotions are not your enemies. They are your most faithful and honest guides. They are the messengers that are pointing you directly to the smudges on your inner window. The practice, therefore, is to become a curious and compassionate detective of your own feelings. When you feel a strong, recurring, and uncomfortable emotion, you will not get lost in its story. You will pause and you will ask it a gentle question. What is the underlying belief, the veil, that is creating this feeling? You can then use a veil journal to document your findings. For example, you might write, "Today, when my friend told me about her promotion, I felt a strong pang of envy." The emotional fingerprint is envy. The veil this is pointing to is the belief that success is a limited resource, and her success means there is less for me. By simply and non-judgmentally identifying the veil in this way, you have already begun to separate yourself from it and to diminish its power. As you begin to identify your primary veils, you can then deepen your awareness by observing the veils in action. These veils are not just abstract beliefs. They actively influence your daily behaviors and choices. You must begin to notice how they show up in your life. For instance, a person looking through a powerful unworthiness veil will consistently engage in self-sabotaging behaviors. They might deflect compliments because the positive energy is incongruent with their belief that they are not good enough. They might undercharge for their services at work because they do not believe they are worthy of being well compensated. They might avoid applying for their dream job because the veil whispers that they would never get it anyway. Another example is the struggle veil, the belief that anything worthwhile must be difficult to obtain. A person with this veil will often unconsciously make their life harder than it needs to be. They will reject simple, easy solutions in favor of complex, difficult ones, because their belief system equates struggle with value. The practice here is to look at the challenging patterns in your own life and to ask, what underlying veil, what unconscious belief could be causing me to consistently act in this way? By connecting your outer patterns of behavior to your inner veils of belief, you gain a comprehensive understanding of how your inner world is creating your outer reality. It is also crucial to understand that many of our most powerful veils are not personal. They are collective veils, beliefs that we have absorbed from the culture and the society we live in. These are the big, overarching stories about how the world works that we rarely think to question. Collective veils can include beliefs like, you have to have a university degree to be successful, or your peak earning years are in your 40s and 50s, or it is normal to be in debt. Because these beliefs are held by so many people, they feel like objective reality. Part of identifying your veils is learning to question the obvious truths of your culture. The practice for this is conscious questioning. When you hear a commonly held belief about money, success, or what is possible, you will not automatically accept it. You will pause and ask yourself, is that really true, or is it just a collective story? Can I find any evidence to the contrary? For example, you hear the collective story that the economy is bad and that it is a terrible time to start a business. The conscious questioner will look for counter-evidence. They will seek out stories of the thousands of successful businesses that were started during economic downturns. By questioning the collective veils, you begin to free your own mind from their powerful hypnotic spell. You realize that you do not have to subscribe to the mass reality of limitation, and that you are free to create your own, more abundant reality. You have now become a conscious and insightful observer of your own perception. You are learning to see the invisible veils that have been coloring your experience of reality. You can see the smudges on your own inner window. This awareness is the first and most critical step to freedom. But how do you actually begin to clean the window? How do you take the powerful, deeply ingrained, and often emotionally charged stories that keep you feeling poor and powerless, and how do you begin to gently and lovingly drop them, once and for all? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Dropping the Stories That Keep You Poor. Think about a favorite old coat that you have had for years. It might be patched and worn, a little too tight in the shoulders, and no longer in style. But it is familiar. It is comfortable. It holds the memories of many past seasons, and putting it on feels like coming home to an old and familiar friend. Now imagine that someone has gifted you a magnificent, brand new, and exquisitely tailored cashmere coat, a coat that represents the expansive and abundant person you are becoming. This new coat is waiting for you in your closet. But to wear it, you must first make the conscious choice to take off the old, familiar, and comfortable one. This can be surprisingly difficult. The old coat is who you have known yourself to be, and letting it go can feel like a loss of identity. Your scarcity stories, the deeply ingrained narratives that keep you feeling poor and powerless, are like this old, familiar coat. Stories like, I'm just not the kind of person who is good with money, or my family has always struggled, so it's my destiny to struggle too, or you have to work yourself to the bone for every dollar you make. These stories, as limiting as they are, have become a core part of our identity. They feel safe and familiar, and letting them go can trigger a deep primal fear of the unknown. The great challenge at this stage is to find the courage to finally and lovingly take off the old restrictive coat of your scarcity story so that you can finally step into the magnificent new robe of your abundant truth. The transformative solution, the very heart of this work, is to understand the profound and liberating truth that you are not your stories. You are the sacred and powerful author of your stories. A story is not an unchangeable fact. It is an interpretation of events, a narrative that has been woven together over time. And because you are the author, you have the absolute power at any given moment to decide that the old story has reached its conclusion, and to pick up your pen and begin writing a brand new, more beautiful, and more empowering one. The process of dropping your stories is not one of violent self-rejection. It is a gentle, compassionate, and deliberate process of creative release. It is about honoring the old story for the lessons it taught you and the ways it protected you, and then consciously and lovingly declaring that that chapter of your life is now over. When you can successfully separate yourself, the eternal author, from the temporary stories you've been telling, you reclaim your ultimate creative power. You are no longer a character trapped in a limiting plot. You are the free and sovereign creator of your own magnificent tale. The first step in this process is to audit your story. You must take your primary scarcity story out of the shadows of your subconscious mind and look at it objectively in the clear light of day. The practice for this is to become a literary critic of your own narrative. In your journal, you will write down your primary scarcity story in as much detail as possible. For example, the story I have been living is that of a struggling artist. The main character, me, is talented but is destined to never be financially successful because the world doesn't value true art. The plot is a series of near misses, financial struggles, and the belief that to be a pure artist, one must reject commercial success. Once you have your story written down, you will deconstruct it. You will ask, who are the villains and heroes in this story? What is the central conflict? What is the inevitable conclusion that this story is always heading toward? And then you will ask the most powerful question of all. Is this story 100% objectively true, or is it just one possible interpretation of the events of my life? By dissecting your story in this way, you begin to see it not as a factual biography, but as a piece of creative fiction that you have been unconsciously writing for years. Once you can see your story as a story, the second step is to honor it and complete it. Every story, even a painful one, served a purpose. Your scarcity stories were often created by a younger version of you as a way to make sense of the world or to protect you from disappointment. The struggling artist story, for example, might have protected you from the fear of failure. If you believe you are destined to struggle, then you never have to take the real risk of putting your art out into the world in a big way. To drop the story, you must first thank it. The practice for this is the closing the chapter ritual. You will take the story you have written down, and you will write a final paragraph at the end. This paragraph will be a compassionate acknowledgement of the story's role in your life. You might write, I want to thank this story of the struggling artist. I know it was trying to protect me from the pain of rejection and failure. It has taught me humility, and it has kept my artistic spirit pure. I am grateful for the lessons it has brought me. And then you will write the final, powerful sentence. This chapter of my story is now complete. The end. By consciously and lovingly declaring the story to be over, you are giving yourself a powerful sense of closure. You are no longer in the middle of a never-ending tale of struggle. You have officially finished that book. The third and final step is the joyful act of opening a new blank page. After you have closed the old book, you must ceremonially and joyfully open a new one. This is the act of consciously choosing the theme and the title for your new story. This is not about scripting the entire plot, but about setting the energetic tone for the new chapter. The practice is simple. You will take a fresh page in your journal. At the top, you will write the title of your new story. For our artist, the new title might be The Thriving and Abundant Creator. Then, you will write a single powerful paragraph that describes the central theme and the feeling tone of this new story. It might read, This is a story of joyful and effortless creation. It is a story where my unique artistic gifts are celebrated and generously compensated. The central theme of this story is that my creativity and my prosperity are one and the same, and that by sharing my art with the world, I am a channel for immense beauty and abundance, both for myself and for others. You will then perform a small ritual to inaugurate this new story. You might read your new title and theme aloud, you might light a candle to honor it, or you might share it with a trusted friend. This act is a powerful declaration to the universe. You have not just dropped the old story. You have now consciously and deliberately begun to write a new one. You have picked up your author's pen with a fresh sense of purpose, and the entire universe of infinite potential is now eagerly waiting to see what magnificent tale you will write next. You have done the brave and liberating work of identifying the veils that have clouded your vision and of consciously dropping the old heavy stories of scarcity that have kept you poor. The page is now beautifully and thrillingly blank. Your pen is poised. You are ready to write a new story. But how do you now begin to consciously and powerfully align your every thought, your every feeling, and your every action with the magnificent, already abundant self that has been patiently waiting just beneath the surface of the old stories to finally emerge? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Aligning with your already abundant self. A master actor, when preparing for the role of a lifetime, does not simply focus on memorizing the lines in the script. Their true work is an internal one. If they are to play the role of a wise and benevolent king, they must first find the king within themselves. They will explore the king's posture, his way of thinking, his emotional core, and his deep sense of responsibility. They will practice embodying these qualities until they are no longer acting like a king, but have, for the duration of their performance, truly become the king in their own being. The lines then flow naturally, the actions become authentic, and the performance becomes a breathtaking and believable reality. This is the sacred and powerful work that is now before you. You have done the courageous work of dropping your old, limiting stories of lack and scarcity. The blank page of your new chapter lies before you. But before you can write a new story, you must first fully and completely step into the identity of its magnificent main character, your already abundant self. The great challenge at this stage is that after we have consciously dropped our old stories, an identity vacuum is created. We know intellectually who we no longer want to be, the person of struggle, of worry, of not enough. But we have not yet had the practice of consistently being the new person. This can feel disorienting. We can flicker back and forth between our old identity and our new potential, like a radio caught between two stations. The transformative solution is to dedicate yourself to the conscious and deliberate practice of embodiment. You must understand the profound truth that the universe responds not to the stories you tell, but to the identity you embody. Your state of being is the most powerful signal you can ever send. The most direct path to manifesting the abundance that is already yours is to begin to think, to feel, to act, and to make your choices as the version of yourself who is already living in the full conscious awareness of their infinite inheritance. This is not about faking it till you make it in a way that feels inauthentic or dishonest. It is the far more powerful practice of acting as if you are remembering the truth. It is an act of aligning your present-day self with the magnificent, eternal, and already abundant truth of your soul. When you begin to consistently align your being with the abundance that is your birthright, the universe, which is a perfect mirror of your identity, has no choice but to reflect back to you a reality that is filled with wealth, with grace, and with ease. The first principle of this embodiment is to create a daily practice of alignment. You must consciously and deliberately set your energetic tone for the day, stepping into your abundant self before you step into the world. The practice for this is the morning alignment. Each morning, before you check your phone or engage with the day's demands, you will dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes to connect with your already abundant self. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Then you will ask yourself a simple, powerful question. Who would I be and how would I feel if I were already living in the full, joyful experience of my desired abundance? Allow the image and, more importantly, the feeling of this version of you to emerge. What is their posture? Is it relaxed and confident? What is their dominant emotional state? Is it peace? Is it joy? Is it a quiet, unshakable sense of security? You will then, in your imagination, step into this version of yourself. Feel your posture changing. Breathe as they would breathe. And most importantly, you will allow yourself to marinate in the beautiful high-frequency feeling of your wish already fulfilled. This simple daily practice is incredibly powerful. It is like a musician tuning their instrument before a performance. You are consciously and deliberately tuning your own being to the beautiful, resonant frequency of your abundant self, ensuring that the music you play throughout your day is one of harmony, of grace, and of prosperity. With this morning alignment as your foundation, the second principle is to carry that embodiment into the actions and decisions of your daily life. Your identity is forged not just in your morning meditation, but in the small, moment-to-moment choices you make throughout your day. The practice is to consistently ask yourself, how would the version of me who knows they are inherently abundant act in this situation? This question will become your new compass for decision-making. For example, you are at a restaurant and you are deciding what to order. The old identity of lack might immediately scan the menu for the cheapest options, operating from a place of fear and contraction. The already abundant self, however, would operate differently. This does not necessarily mean they would order the most expensive item. It means they would choose from a place of freedom and self-worth. They would ask their body what it truly desires to be nourished with, and they would order that, trusting that their inheritance will always provide for their needs. Another example, you are presented with a small but exciting new business opportunity. The old identity of lack might hesitate, creating a list of all the reasons it might fail. The already abundant self would feel the excitement, would recognize the opportunity as a gift from their kingdom, and would take a confident, inspired step forward. By consistently making these small, aligned choices, you are not just pretending to be an abundant person, you are actively and practically being one. You are building the muscle of your new identity. The third and final principle is to surround yourself with an environment of alignment. It is very difficult to maintain the identity of a magnificent eagle if you continue to live your entire life in the chicken coop. The people, the information, and the physical spaces you surround yourself with all have a powerful influence on your ability to hold your new identity. You must become a conscious curator of your environment, ensuring that it is a reflection of the abundant self you are now choosing to be. The practice is to perform an alignment audit of your surroundings. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Do they uplift you, inspire you, and believe in your potential? Or do they consistently pull you back into the old stories of gossip, complaint, and limitation? You must lovingly choose to maximize your time with the former and minimize your time with the latter. Look at the information you consume. Is your media diet filled with stories of fear, of crisis, and of lack? Or are you consciously feeding your mind with inspiring books, with empowering podcasts, and with beautiful art that reflects your new abundant reality? Look at your physical space. Does your home feel like the sanctuary of a beloved royal heir, or does it feel cluttered and neglected? By consciously choosing to surround yourself with people, with information, and with environments that are in alignment with your already abundant self, you are making it infinitely easier to hold that identity consistently. You are creating a beautiful, supportive ecosystem where your new self can not only survive, but can truly and magnificently thrive. You have done the brave work of dropping your old heavy stories of scarcity, and you are now courageously and joyfully stepping into the beautiful new robe of your true abundant self. The page is no longer blank. You are actively living and breathing the first beautiful sentences of your new chapter. But how do you now begin to see the magnificent reflection of this inner shift in the world around you? How do you train your eyes, which have been so long accustomed to seeing only the desert, to finally see the rich, beautiful, and ever-present riches of your kingdom that are already all around you? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Seeing the riches already around you. Imagine you have been wearing a pair of dark, smudged, and scratched sunglasses for your entire life. You have worn them for so long that you have completely forgotten you have them on. Through these glasses, Even the brightest, most sun-drenched day appears dim, dreary, and lacking in color. You look out at a world of vibrant flowers, of deep blue skies, and of brilliant sunshine, but your experience is one of a dull and muted reality. You believe that this is simply how the world is. The problem is not with the world. The world is, and always has been, magnificent and bright. The problem is with the filter through which you are perceiving it. Your veils of lack, your old stories and beliefs, are like these dark sunglasses. For years, they have been filtering your perception, causing you to see a world of limitation, of struggle, and of not enough, even when you are, and always have been, surrounded by an ocean of infinite abundance. Now that you have begun the profound work of aligning with your already abundant self on the inside, the next crucial step is to learn how to take off the dark glasses. You must consciously and deliberately retrain your perception to see the magnificent riches that are already present in your life, right here and right now. The great challenge is that our brains have been expertly trained through years of habit to scan our environment for problems, for threats, and for what is missing. We are masters at spotting the one thing that is wrong while being completely blind to the 99 things that are right. The transformative and most joyful solution is to become master of perception. This is the art of consciously and deliberately shifting your focus from a habit of lack scanning to a new empowering habit of richness spotting. You must understand that you are not trying to change the world. You are simply changing the lens through which you view the world. When you can learn to see the riches that are already around you, a magical and powerful feedback loop is created. By noticing and appreciating the abundance you already have, you generate a powerful feeling of gratitude and wealth in your present moment. This high-frequency feeling, as we know, is the very thing that magnetizes even more abundance and prosperity into your life. The act of seeing your current riches is the very thing that creates your future riches. It is a profound declaration to the universe that you have finally remembered the truth, that you are not a pauper living in a desert, but a royal heir living in the heart of a magnificent and overflowing kingdom. You are simply learning to finally open your eyes and see the beauty and the wealth that have been patiently waiting for you all along. The first principle in this perceptual shift is the simple but profound practice of the gratitude scan. Gratitude is the most powerful solvent for the dark lenses of lack. It is impossible to feel genuine gratitude and to feel a sense of scarcity at the same time. The gratitude scan is a conscious and deliberate exercise in forcing your brain to find the good. The practice is simple. At several points throughout your day, perhaps when you are waiting in line, when you first wake up, or just before you fall asleep, you will pause and you will actively scan your immediate environment and your current life situation to find 5 things, big or small, that you can be genuinely grateful for in that very moment. At first, your old lack scanner mind may resist. It will want to tell you about all the things that are wrong. You must gently but firmly override it. You will look for the simple riches. I am grateful for the comfortable chair I am sitting in. I am grateful for the roof over my head that is keeping me safe and dry. I am grateful for the technology that is allowing me to learn and grow. I am grateful for the simple fact that I am breathing. I am grateful for the cup of tea that I am about to enjoy. By consistently forcing your mind to find and focus on the good that is already present, you are performing a form of neurological reprogramming. You are weakening the old automatic pathways of lack scanning, and you are strengthening new, powerful pathways of richness spotting. You are quite literally cleaning the smudges off your sunglasses. The second principle is to redefine your definition of riches. For too long, we have been culturally conditioned to define riches in a very narrow and limited way, equating it almost exclusively with money. To truly see the abundance that is already yours, you must dramatically expand your personal definition of wealth. The practice for this is to keep a daily riches log. At the end of each day, you will take your journal and you will acknowledge the non-monetary riches you received that day. You will look for the riches of connection. Did you share a laugh with a loved one? Did a stranger offer you a kind smile? Did you feel a sense of belonging? You will look for the riches of well-being. Did you get a good night's sleep? Did you feel strong and energetic in your body? Did you have a moment of profound peace? You will look for the riches of creativity and inspiration. Did you have a new, exciting idea? Did you learn something that expanded your mind? Did you see a piece of art or hear a piece of music that touched your soul? By consciously tracking these different forms of wealth, you will come to a profound and undeniable realization that you are already, in this very moment, fabulously wealthy. This realization shifts your entire energetic state from one of needing to one of having. And it is this powerful state of having that allows even more, including the financial kind, to flow to you with ease. The third and final principle is learning to see the gift in the contrast. This is an advanced and incredibly powerful way to find the riches that are hidden even in your challenges. The contrast refers to the unwanted things, the situations in your life that are not as you would like them to be. The old lack mindset sees these situations as problems, as evidence of failure. The new, abundant mindset learns to see them as powerful and precious gifts. The practice is to look at any challenging situation in your life and to ask, what gift of clarity is this situation giving me? For example, you are in a job that makes you feel drained and uninspired. The gift of this contrast is a powerful clarity about what you do want in a career. You now know with absolute certainty that you desire a career that is creative, that is purposeful, and that gives you a sense of freedom. The unwanted situation has helped you to perfectly clarify your new desire. It has helped you to craft a powerful new ask. Another example, you are struggling with debt. The gift of this contrast might be that it is forcing you to become a masterful and highly educated steward of your own finances, a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life once the abundance begins to flow. By learning to see the gift of clarity in every challenging situation, you transform your entire reality. There are no more problems, only clarifying experiences that are helping you to get more and more specific about the magnificent life you are choosing to create. You are now not only aligning with your abundant self on the inside, but you are also learning to see the magnificent reflection of that abundance in the world all around you. You are taking off the dark glasses of lack, and you are beginning to see the brilliant, vibrant, and rich reality that has been here for you all along. But what is the final, ultimate, and most beautiful stage of this journey? What does it mean to move from being a person who is manifesting abundance to a person who is living, breathing, and joyfully expressing it at every moment? How do you learn to live your entire life from a permanent and unshakable state of overflow? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Living from a state of overflow. Consider a magnificent and abundant fountain in the center of a beautiful garden. The water in this fountain does not struggle to exist. It does not hoard itself in fear of running out. Its very nature is to be in a constant, joyful, and effortless state of circulation. It graciously receives the water that flows to it from its infinite, unseen source, and then, in the very same moment, it joyfully gives that water away, cascading it down into the basin below, nourishing the flowers and delighting all who see it. The fountain's beauty and its power are not in the water that it holds, but in the water that flows through it. This is the ultimate metaphor for the final and most beautiful stage of your journey. It is the state of living from a state of overflow. This is the point where you have so fully and so completely remembered the truth of your own abundant nature that you are no longer concerned with manifesting or attracting anything. You have reached the profound realization that you, like the fountain, are directly connected to an infinite and inexhaustible source. And in this knowing, your entire life transforms from a process of getting into a joyful expression of being and giving. The last vestige of the lack mindset is the subtle nagging fear of losing what you have gained. This fear can cause us to become hoarders of our abundance, to clench our fists around our money, our time, or our love. This clenching stagnates the flow. The final act of liberation is to open your hands completely and to become a beautiful, magnificent fountain for the universe. The transformative and ultimate solution is to fully and completely embody your own abundance. It is to integrate all that you have learned so deeply into your being that it is no longer a practice, but is simply who you are. This is the shift from a life based on manifesting to a life that is a living manifestation. When you are living from a state of overflow, you are no longer operating from the paradigm of cause and effect. You have become the cause itself. You are no longer trying to align with the flow of abundance. You have realized that you are the flow of abundance. In this state, your inner and outer worlds become one. The peace, the joy, and the wealth you experience are not things that happen to you. They are a direct and constant radiation of your own state of being. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the end of all seeking and the beginning of a life lived as a pure, joyful, and benevolent expression of the universe's infinite good. The first principle of living in this state is making trust in the infinite source your new reality. In the earlier stages of the journey, we worked on building faith by looking for evidence and celebrating small signs. At this final stage, your trust becomes absolute and unconditional. It no longer requires external proof. You develop an unshakable, bone-deep cellular knowing that your source of good is not your job, it is not your bank account, it is not your clients. Your source is the infinite, intelligent, and loving universe itself, and this source can never, ever run out. The practice for this is to consistently and consciously release your attachment to the channels through which your abundance flows. When money comes to you through your job, you will be grateful for the job, but you will give your ultimate thanks to the infinite source that provided the job as one of its many possible channels. This is a subtle but powerful shift. It means that if one channel, like a job, were to dry up, you would feel no fear. You would know with calm certainty that because your source is infinite, the universe will simply and immediately open another, and perhaps even better, channel for your good to flow to you. This unconditional trust in the source is the bedrock of a life lived without financial fear. The second principle is to embrace the joy of circulation as your primary mode of operation. A being who knows they are an infinite source does not fear giving. In fact, they find their greatest joy in it. As we have discussed, you must become as masterful at giving as you are at receiving. At this stage of mastery, giving is no longer a conscious practice. It is the natural, spontaneous, and joyful expression of your own inner fullness. Because you have no fear of lack, you can give freely, generously, and without any thought of what you will get in return. The practice is to simply and joyfully follow the loving impulses of your own heart. When you feel a genuine, expansive, and joyful urge to be generous, to leave an unexpectedly large tip for a struggling student, to anonymously donate to a local cause you believe in, to freely share your time and your wisdom to help someone on their path, you simply do it. This act of joyful, non-transactional giving is one of the highest frequency states you can embody. It is the ultimate declaration of your own abundant identity. It is you acting as the fountain, and it is this very act of joyful giving that keeps the divine current of abundance flowing to you and through you in a powerful, ever-expanding, and beautiful cycle. The third and ultimate principle of a life lived from overflow is the dissolving of the need. When you truly and deeply know that you are one with the infinite, abundant source of all life, the very need to manifest anything specific begins to dissolve. This is a profound and peaceful state. It is not that you no longer have preferences or desires. It is that you are no longer attached to them for your happiness. Your joy is no longer dependent on the acquisition of a specific thing or a specific outcome. Your joy is found in the simple, profound, and beautiful state of being itself, of being a channel for the love and the intelligence of the universe. You trust so deeply that the universe will always bring you the perfect people, the perfect resources, and the perfect experiences at the perfect time, that you no longer need to micromanage the process with specific requests. Your entire life becomes a state of open-handed receiving. Your only ask becomes a simple, silent prayer. Thank you. Use me. Let my life be a blessing. And from this place of profound surrender and trust, the universe is finally free to deliver to you miracles, wonders, and blessings far greater and more magnificent than your limited human mind could have ever thought to ask for. You have now walked the complete path of remembrance. You have journeyed from the forgotten state of a pauper in the desert of lack to the full and magnificent embodiment of the royal heir to the entire universe. You have learned to see past the veils of illusion, to drop the old stories that kept you poor, to align with your already abundant self, to see the riches that are all around you, and finally, to live your life as a magnificent fountain of overflow. You have remembered the ultimate truth. The abundance of the universe is not something you have to get. It has been, and always will be, already yours. We have come to the end of our journey of remembering, a sacred path that has guided you from the illusion of lack to the profound truth of your own inherent abundance. You have learned to identify and release the veils and stories that have kept you feeling separate from your good. You have practiced aligning with your already abundant self, seeing the riches that are constantly surrounding you, and finally, living from a beautiful state of overflow. You now understand